I heard you say that, I suppose, I'm looking at a person or some object. I feel a certain sensation. I feel the influence of forces, but I feel it through vision, which you have described as a screen. Are there forces behind that screen which I can perceive, and they're also depicted on my other screen, on my inner screen, if I have it? If I have the ability to sense it also on the next screen. Meaning, we perceive our natural screen with which we were born, upon which these forces depict this many-layered depiction of our world in which we exist. Meaning, we make screens like computer screens, movie screens, and so on. We create flat screens like the ones we have inside our world. But our world itself, the way it appears to us, it's also a screen, only it's a 3D screen. This comprehensive screen in which we exist, like there are these 3D techniques. That's the dimension in which we are, that's the screen in which we exist. That's called a screen in Kabbalah. Thus, there are 125 such spheres of screens, one within the other. We are in the smallest inner sphere in which we were born. That was the screen we were given automatically to begin with. And this sphere, the screen in which we exist, in which we depict ourselves to exist in, is called our world. This entire world is built out of only two powers, reception and bestowal, on the minimum level of the interaction between themselves. If we can develop those forces, lift up so that the power of bestowal will prevail the power of reception, then we develop, extend, and come out into the next sphere, the next screen. And there we feel ourselves as existing, but already in an entirely different form, way. We, of course, also feel our attributes different, ourselves different, and our entire environment as different. And that is already called the upper world. And then the next, and the next states, and so on. And all of these states, they accumulate. They don't interfere. It's like as if you're sitting in a theater and on the movie screen you see yourself sitting watching a movie, and in that movie you see yourself sitting and watching a movie, and so on. And such 125 screen inwards. You also said something about the need for that screen disappears, where I start feeling things directly without the screen. Meaning now I see that screen as I love something, I want something, I feel the interaction of forces within myself, but I see it on a screen. You wrote about it, you remember? Yes. And happens the following. That screen is simply an illusion through which I can somehow grab hold of those powers existing behind it. It's possible to say that too. It's very hard to depict for a person who doesn't really feel it. By feeling yourself existing in that reality, you depict it. You simultaneously, through your thoughts, through your forces and powers you created. The truth is that it doesn't exist. The truth is that those 125 spheres, concentrated spheres, they don't exist outside you. You depict them, you create them. But better not get deeper into it because it will confuse people. You'll say, but one creates, the other creates, how do these spheres interact? It's a tremendous science about it. And if we die in this world, what happens to those spheres and we're born again? You have to gradually accustom yourself to this action, to this thought, to get into it, and then you'll really feel that that's how it's built and that's how you really exist and live. I wanted to say something else. The main fear of a person that he's not connected to any coordinates, that when you say that there's no room, no sofa on which you can lean, So where am I? There's right, left, up, down. Is there, or that's the main problem of understanding it all. Yes, but what can you do? That's the purpose for which the method exists. You can't escape it. So you have to gradually tell a person about it. You have to gradually explain to him about it, to bring him into it, gradually give him the opportunity to investigate himself, his opportunities and possibilities, how to govern your attributes. Every person can attain that all and must attain it all. You have to learn how to do it. But all of our suffering in this world is pushing us directly at that. It's not pushing us in order to improve this world, this small sphere inside which we exist. No, by no means. There's no need for that whatsoever. We have to change ourselves such so that we'll come out into the external sphere, and then a more external sphere. And if instead of that we start improving our own small sphere and want to remain in it, then the only thing we get is the blows of nature that tries to push us out, to squeeze us out like a pit out of a cherry. Simply throw us out, outwards. That's what we feel today in all of our actions in our world. And nothing else. Thus, the right attitude towards the world in order to change ourselves, not to change the world, not to change our environment somehow, make it better or something, no. To help a person to come out into the next level of existence, not only into the next feeling. It's not the feeling. It's an existence. It's an existence in an entirely different screen, in a different world, in another dimension. And we must come to that necessarily, and we have to explain it to people that that is what nature is pushing us at, and you don't have to do anything else, only that. All the rest will bring only more suffering and a kind of postponing the end meaning postponing that good elation. That is the only goal of our world. We'll come to it for sure. It all depends only on the amount of suffering and the continuity, the prolongedness of the time that we have in order to acknowledge that finally we have to do something reasonable. So to first of all find out, what does nature intend for us? It has a plan of development we developed up to this day. According to our plans, now all the plans that we make, they fail. And what plans does nature have? Let's get to know them. Let's study them. Let's attain them. Let's see. It's always good for us to find out at least what do we exist in. We can't do anything about nature. We're a part of it. And even though we think that we do what we want and so on, it's nature. It's that very same nature. We can't get out of it. I can't jump out of myself, and even if I try, nonetheless, I exist within my own nature. So what is that program inside me according to which I constantly change? We have to understand that. Otherwise, that program, it pushes me towards who knows what. And if I'll get to know it, it's very probable that I'll agree, or by agreeing with it, I'll develop in a good, comfortable way. I'll feel comfortable. Everyone will feel good. Humanity has been living in nescience long enough. And that's what Kabbalah speaks about, and thus it's unfolding. And first and foremost, it says, study nature. But not how to subjugate it to myself, but how to subjugate myself before it or towards it. But there are many processes there. Usually there's nothing complicated about it, nothing. There are only two forces in nature, the power of reception and the power of bestowal. The power of bestowal is the higher force which has created us. It revives everything, and the power of reception is the power of all created beings. The strongest manifestation of this power is in man, and man uses it very unwisely, using all of nature and all of those around him adversely, bring harm to them, and as a result bring harm upon himself. So we have to learn from nature how to use those two forces in nature in the best possible way. If we'll learn from nature how to do it, if we'll see how it does it, we'll feel good. Call nature the creator, call it nature, it doesn't matter. Meaning, Kabbalah is the most natural, integral, global science about nature. Yeah, but it's written in very complicated ways so that a person can understand it. If you take physics and any other science, I don't think that they explain things more simply. On the contrary, Kabbalah is a simple science because it explains everything through feelings that exist in us all, and thus we all understand them, and that's all there is to it. When you start acting according to what Kabbalah explains to us, you simply undergo these things yourself. They become closest to you. They become most realistic, most tangible. They're simply within you.